is this strange new world. It's Saturday night on the bus, and you know what that means. Yes, don't adjust your sets, everybody. It's not a glitch in the Matrix. It's not Friday night. We haven't time travelled. It's myself and Liam, the Friday feeling team. We're doing a double shift, Liam. We're doing a wee double shift because, yeah, turns out Russell's at a birthday party this evening, and because of that, Terry's made other plans. And yeah, I thought, well, okay, me and Liam will jump on and we'll talk about the game today because, yes, Celtic 3, Hearts 0, another step towards the title. There's, of course, another game going on right now, so we'll see how that pans out. I've got that on to my left-hand side. We'll keep a wee eye on that. But yeah, we're on tonight, have a wee chat on the old P.M.P, Post Match Pish. So welcome along. Come on in, take your seats, sit down. We'll have a wee chat about the game today. A fantastic performance. I'm looking forward to getting into it. So obviously we watched it from two very different perspectives. I was there at the game today and the howling wind and rain, and then the sun came out for a while, then it began again, and then the sun was out. How's the weather in Canada? Is it better than what we experienced today, Liam?
It's still bad. It's sort of dreak it.
It was certainly dreak the day at Celtic Park, I'll tell you. If you were at the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was absolutely horrific.
It looked horrible.
Yeah, it was bogging, mate. But I say Celtic's performance wasn't all that bogging, so we'll be getting at that very soon. But of course, before we go any further, you know what you can do? You can do for the second night in a row, folks. You know exactly what you can do. You can do all that good stuff. You can hit the old like button, help us out with the old algorithms. You can get involved in our comment section and tell us, well, you at the game, what did you think of it? You know, tell us how you felt we played and whatnot. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Of course, keep us on your life that wee bit longer. Hit the bell notification and you'll be reminded when the bus is on the road. And still head over to piesports.com and you can still use that code BUS1888 and get 12.5% off of your orders. And yeah, let's get into it, Liam. Let's get into it. So yeah, Celtic 3, Hearts 0. And yeah, right away, I think the first thing, usually when Terry and Russell do the P.M.P, they'll always home in on the team before the game and talk about, their feelings for it. And the first thing stood out to me, and I don't think we even entertained this idea last night, was that Mike Nawrocki kept his place. I thought with the international break, I thought, well, Austin Trusty will be back. I knew there was still an issue with Liam Scales, but Nawrocki kept his place, and similarly what you said last night is his inclusion and his performance now. That's two cameo performances he essentially had this season after being frozen out for God knows how long. Where does it put him now in the pecking order? When Scales is fit and when Trusty is fit, where is Nawrocki right now in terms of that? Because again, I don't think he was all that bad today. A couple of moments when he looked a wee bit rusty. One thing that I did home in on, I did notice was, compared to the Rangers game, and this is one of the things that people picked up on, is when we were passing out for the back, we didn't utilise Nawrocki that much and try and go down the left because he was finding it very awkward. I thought today, in spite of Hearts high pressing us in the first half a bit, we were trying a lot more to go down that left-hand side and try and mix it up a little bit. But I felt he dealt with it pretty well in the end. I mean, Hearts had the little moments of pressure in the back line in the first half, but overall, yeah, I think Nawrocki did okay. So where does it leave him, Liam, in no pecking order right now?
Honestly, you never know with Rodgers. It's like, so does he play his way out? Does he play his way out the team? Are they two? See, I don't think there's that much of a difference between the three of them right now that one isn't automatically to step back into the team. Imagine it's probably in Rodgers' minds it's Trusty. But so far from Nawrocki, I've seen he's got an aerial threat, which is good. He's big. He's he's got a bit of power to him as well. So it's like there's nobody. We used to get pushed around inside the box, especially Hearts, guys like Shanklin and all that. And Nielsen that coming up. No, Nielsen was the other player. But we didn't have any of that today. I thought we were really, really solid, and I thought that you're right. At the very first 10 minutes. They looked like they were forcing us high press. We looked like a team that had a bunch of international players on international duty in that first 5-10 minutes because they just seemed to hit us. But we managed to pass it round at the back. And I mean, squeaky bum time watching Sinisalo making his debut. And then the first 10 minutes, just watching that ball pinging around the area, you're thinking, oh my God, I was having Joe Hart flashbacks watching that. But all in all, I think Big Rocky did well on that back line, and I think the way they played themselves out of that early press, I think the moment was there was a point where Schlupp took the ball from the 18-yard box and managed to do a really powerful run to just sort of carry the ball out himself and then got it up to Kuhn. And at that moment, you could see there was a shift. There was a shift in the way Celtic started playing, and at that point, we were opening up. We figured it out that the way to beat their high press was for our midfielders, Callum, Schlupp, or whoever could carry that ball through. And I thought Nawrocki looked good in that as well too. He was good at taking a couple of steps and finding the man that was close to him with that ball. And and once we beat their press, they were just hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. The thing on Nawrocki as well, and again, as I say, it creates more questions than answers. I think you'll be very hard pressed to find a Celtic fan who, in the last 18 months, can tell you exactly what Nawrocki did wrong. I mean, was he the perfect centre back? Not obviously not. But was he terrible? Not the worst we've ever seen. I mean, obviously, we had that game last season up at Pataudry where we drew 1-1, and Majowski sort of sent him for a hot dog, the one where Majowski's bearing down on goal from the halfway line, and Nawrocki's backing off, not really sure if he wants to go and tackle him. But remember, Majowski also was one of the most red-hot strikers in the league last season. It's not really a shame that he was able to turn them in on the left-hand side and bend into the corner. But he's obviously just been sort of exiled. But yeah, every time he seems to play, he's all right. He's not bad. And again, if it's a case of, again, Brendan sees him in training every day, and obviously we know with Brendan Rodgers and with a lot of managers in general now, it's all about playing out from the back. It's all about being comfortable with the ball at your feet and moving it out from there. And again, if it's like, well, if that's not Nawrocki's strong point, then why was he signed in the first place? Because again, remember, Brendan Rodgers has told us he gives approval, he gives a sign-off on all these players that we've brought in since he's came back in, says he's very happy with the transfer policy. But then you look at the way Lagerbielke was treated as well, and then Nawrocki's just been kind of exiled. But I say he's came in, and he's an option now to the end of the season. So at least we know that. Because obviously we had Stevie Welsh was getting into the team ahead of Stevie Welsh is now away, and then you've got Dane Murray recalled from loan. And it's like, well, I feel a lot better if the options for the two centre-back spots, ideally you always want to have 4 solid options to rotate. You've got Nawrocki, Trusty, Carter Vickers and Scales. That's a lot better, I feel. So, yeah, fair enough. And fair play to the lad as well, because not that I would have expected this, but, there are players out there in the world of football who can have a bit of a huff where, they've been exiled for the team, then suddenly their manager turns to them and they could be kind of just phoning it in. But no, fair enough, man. Nawrocki, he's came in, he's been professional about it, he's got his head down and he's done all right. So, yeah, so he was a bit of a surprise when I saw the team sheet today. I didn't expect him. I thought it would be Trusty back. But, yeah, we had no issues there. But, of course, the man in front of him, we spoke about it last night. The key for today was the man at the back, the last line of defence, Sinisalo. He was going to need a good backline in front of him. But yes, a clean sheet. Second half, Hearts didn't offer anything. And just on that subject, I know I might have a cheek to talk to say about people being in shape and whatnot, but Lauren Shankland, back in September when Hearts visited, remember my dad said to me, well, look at how overweight Lauren Shankland looks. That was the first time I'd ever noticed it. But today he looked even more, way off it. And I'm like, wow, that's the guy that won the Player of the Year last year. What? I was like, he's so far off it. So Hearts didn't really threaten anything at all. First half, I say, bit of high press, couple of awkward moments. But overall, Sinisalo had a couple of decent saves, and his distribution was the thing, because again, we talked about the way Brendan wants to play Liam playing out for the back, and the goalkeeper plays a big part in that. We know how much Kasper Schmeichel is involved in that. I was like, are they going to change it up a wee bit here? We're having a different goalkeeper in. Are they going to go with that? But no, he was still quite comfortable with the ball at his feet and was quite happy to have you on the edge of your seat at points. There was points where the Hearts forwards were bearing down on him, and he was waiting to the last possible second for pinging the ball away. So he was quite comfortable with it, even under a wee bit of pressure. So yeah, no doubt about it. I watched his interview as well there after the game, and he was pretty chuffed with his performance too.
So the thing that struck me was that surprised me. It was very vocal. I don't know if you've seen it watching the game in the stadium, but you could see it on the telly. He was shouting and he was positioning, and he wasn't shy about it at all. This was a guy that was okay. It was good to see him commanding that. I thought he'd done really well in that first 10, 15 minutes. There was a couple of scrambles inside the goal that he managed to get his body down, big and brave, made himself big, and it was at that bit where just all boots flying around him at that point, and he was maybe a yard or so off his line. I thought he did really, really well to cover his area and push those balls back out in the box. Yeah, I think he had a great debut. If that's what we're considering it. And yeah, that's good. You know, didn't have any big safety makes, but the scrambles and stuff, that's the ones that usually an inexperienced goalie will lose a goal on. And yeah, I was quite happy the way he came out with that.
No, definitely says you want to. You just want to be assured that, and again, it goes back to what I was saying last night, and Terry had said it enough times. We're going to need this guy at some point. We're going to need to rely on him coming in from the cold. Do we know if he's any good? And I think today showed that he's definitely got something there. He wasn't just signed, just with no real effort looked into him, like in terms of scouting and whatnot. It seems like he's got a bit about him. So yeah, that puts me at a bit more ease, because the idea of Scott Bain ever being reinstated as the number one at Celtic Park does not fill me or many fans, I think, with confidence. So yeah, it's good to know that you've got a guy there that can step in and do a job. And how long this will last for him, we don't know, because again, it's very shrouded in mystery right now, Liam, about how long is Schmeichel actually out for. We don't have any definitive answers yet, so it could roll into next week, and he might have to play up at McDermott Park when we play St Johnstone. But yeah, today that's 2 games he's now played for us, and he's had a clean sheet in both of them, so hopefully he can keep that going. But let's talk about obviously the goals in particular, because the first half I thought we were fantastic. Initially, maybe an early 10-minute spell where Hearts kind of had us pinned in a wee bit. I did observe that at the game, said that my dad, went, bit of vibes going on like the Rangers game here, where we can't even get out our own half in the first 5 or 6 minutes. But it was one of those things, once we actually got a chance, the first chance we actually did make, we scored it. And then it did feel like every chance we did seem to make just seemed to fly into the net. But it was a brilliant counter-attack. And of course, a man who was at the heart of that was Callum McGregor, it was a big bonus to have him back today. A perfectly weighted pass in behind. And of course, if you want anybody chasing a ball, Dyson Maeda is the man you want. Nowhere near going to be an offside or anything. He runs in from behind the defender. Defender ain't catching him at all. He just turns on the afterburners. And as soon as he was through there, you just, with the way Dyson Maeda's playing right now, maybe Dyson Maeda 2 or 3 years ago, you might have been like, I don't know, we might blast this over the bar here, but composed, cool as you like, just slots it by Craig Gordon, no problem at all, Liam.
Yeah, that was pure PlayStation, FIFA football, Dyson style. Great to hear the fans singing his name as well. That sounded really loud on the telly.
It was.
The Dyson Maeda song, and you can see he's chuffed with that. Got a new haircut grown in as well. Good to see that. He's getting his lid sorted out. I think that's important to Dyson. You can see the shift in his place. So, keep the blonde bomber going, He's our boy. I hadn't a feeling like that since watching Larson when the ball broke and you seen them moving for that ball. That perfect weighted ball for McGregor. And then I just had so much confidence that this was going in the back of the net. Not that old Dyson Maeda we used to see where it's, at the stadium. But, picked a corner, just cool as you like. The rapidness, the acceleration that he has, there's nobody out there. Like, he's just got... that was just a perfect situation for Dyson Maeda to go. He got to run that extra couple of yards to get himself into the good position, his body, his weight, balance, everything, and then just took it cool as a cucumber. International goalkeeper Craig Gordon,
Yeah.
International on the goals there. So that's some practicing for the World Cup, I think. And I'd really love to see him hit 40 this year. That is so much a possibility the way he's playing right now.
I think he's, what is he, at 30 goals now, around about there? 40's got to be doable with what's left in the season. You've got to imagine with the ratio of goals that he's chopping up, then to going back 2 years to say that Dyson Maeda would hit 40 goals in a season, you'd be like, no chance, given where he was a couple of years ago. But I say he's a changed man. He's one of the guys that so many fans said that when Ange left and Brendan took over, they're like, the East Asian players that we've got, the Japanese players, the Korean players, they won't work with Brendan. It just won't work at all. But Dyson Maeda has been unbelievable. And I keep saying it, he'll be the last man standing. Hitati will go, and then it'll be Maeda, will be the final one that will still be here, because he's definitely bought into Brendan Rodgers, and Brendan Rodgers bought into him, because he's been unbelievable this season, and he's only getting better. It's incredible. But that goal today, as soon as he got by that defender and got onto the ball, you just knew it was coming. But of course, in the stadium and where I sit, you're always on edge about, there's going to be it's going to come a VAR, isn't it? You're just waiting, because I am down at the Jockstein end, so I'm looking down towards the Lisbon line end, so I don't have the benefit of seeing it side on. I can just see that he's ran in, and I'm like, there's going to be a VAR check, but they do play the replay on the screen after the goal, and then you see it, and you're like, it's not even close. But would you even be surprised with Scottish football that they've still delayed the game with that? But no, there was no chance of it, and obviously Maeda gets off to a great start. And the thing is, the front three in general were excellent today, and one guy that we highlighted last night on the Friday film was obviously Nicholas Kuhn. We were speculating on what's going on there. There's been a real dip in form other than the goal against Bayern Munich. He's had a really quiet second half of the season compared to the first half, where he was doing insane numbers. Him and Maeda were matching each other all the way. But Nicholas Kuhn, this was more like it today, because obviously he's heavily involved in the second goal and the third goal. And let's talk about the second one. That little chip that he plays in, and obviously Maeda's unlucky to hit the post, and Jota falls up. All three forwards involved in it. But yeah, Nicholas Kuhn cutting in again, as he does, the trademark that he does all the time, the Arjen Robben move on the right hand side, cuts in on his left foot. But instead of try to look for a shot, maybe the defenders expect to keep running, look to bend it. It's that wee dink over the top of the defender, catches them all out. Maeda gets in there, and I thought it was a fantastic goal. I say the work in it was great, and I say Nicholas Kuhn, that's more like it. That's the Nicholas Kuhn we need to see from now to the end of the season, Liam.
I thought Kuhn played well. It was unfortunate at the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game was slow and sluggish, right? And you could see Kuhn fighting it, and I was wondering myself, I was like, oh shit, we're going to have another Nicholas Kuhn game, where he gave away a couple of fouls and things like that. But we can talk about Clancy later as well, by the way.
We will talk about Kevin Clancy. He's on my agenda tonight.
But yeah, I thought Kuhn played really, really well, and I thought the second, he was involved in the goals, and even though he didn't score himself, you're right, he was doing that 3-4 yard sort of stretchy run that he does across to get himself into shooting position. And he wasn't hammering it every time. He was looking to see if the shot was there. If it wasn't, we were still picking out players in the box. And I thought that was good. That shows a bit more maturity in a player, is that I want to see him score these goals. He did have one that was very close. It was a Callum McGregor type shot as well.
Yeah.
Moved in, and he went to try to catch Gordon on that post. And maybe some younger, those experienced keepers, he would have caught them with that shot. I thought he did really well there. But it was good to see him coming back and playing, much better than what we've seen at Ibrox, I mean, Parkhead, Christ.
Yeah. But to be fair, the game at Ibrox is a lot of people do say that Nicholas Kuhn's sort of dipping form began because he was completely invisible in that game.
Aye.
And yeah, then during the January window, it's weird that how Jota comes back and Kuhn's been a bit off the boil. I said it last night. I'd like to think that those are not liked, and it's not a case of he's having a bit of a huff because Jota's in and he thinks he's getting replaced. No. Brendan's shown that there is a place for all three of them to play together at Adam Ida's expense. But hey, Adam Ida's got to do better when he does get a chance. That's just the way it is. Maeda is red hot right now. You cannot not play him. Jota's obviously came back. He's a superstar, the superstar from Portugal, as we say. So it's like he's got to play. And Nicholas Kuhn's had a phenomenal season up to probably about January there. And it's like we know what he's capable of. But the three of them together, when they are motoring like they were today, absolutely fantastic. And of course, Jota would not be denied. That ball hits the post and Jota's in there. He's in as quick as Diza Maeda would react. He was in there in a flash to get his goal. And it's always a special moment when Jota scores. I know it's a term that we use a lot, Liam. I know it is, but he gets it, mate. He gets it. The emotion in that boy when he scores. He's just so happy to just be back playing football in front of fans that truly appreciate him, because that whole move to Saudi was an absolute debacle in the end, and it's always a real high point in the stadium when Jota gets the goal, Liam.
Chris, I mean, there's the goal celebration, everything. The fact that you said it before, the movement to get to that ball, just the anticipation, that was a Dyson Maeda goal. And so we've replaced Dyson Maeda with Jota, and
Yes.
And you still got all these great things that Jota's, yet to pull out again, that we know he's capable of. I think that's our most settled three. I'm very confident when I see that three playing. I think you start every game to the end of the season with those three, you know, and starting the cup, that's them as well. It's building the rest of the players around them and getting that awareness. But when all three of them are on, everybody else is on as well. I thought that was the best Alistair Johnson game I've seen in a wee while. I thought he played quite well with that, and I think that's it. It's just getting this team to click, and that might have just been seeing how much they missed when Callum McGregor wasn't there, 2 weeks ago. That what a difference is when you've got Callum fully fit, and he's he's the conductor. He's keeping that pace going, and I think that's what we're missing, the timing. That McGregor can bring to the team as well.
Yeah.
We'll get to the next go now.
We will. Also, a quick update for you. Breaking news from Dens Park. It's currently Dundee 3, Rangers 1. Rangers did score an offside goal with Dessers, and it's currently 3-1 to Dundee. But we won't celebrate anything yet, boys. But also, on the subject of the second goal, this ties into as well. San Fran Celtic, you are so correct. Craig Gordon's meltdown made me giddy. San Francisco says Craig Gordon just whinges about everything. He was right out to Kevin Clancy after he scored that second goal, looking for an offside. So I guess that's what he must have been looking for, an offside, because when the dink over to Maeda and he heads it, he's looking for an offside, and maybe even he's looking for an offside when the ball comes out to Jota for the rebound. But it's honest to God, for a guy, and the thing is, when Craig Gordon played for us, I thought he was a great goalkeeper for us. I had no problem with him. But since he's left us, my God, it feels like it's always against us he moans the most. Obviously, there's the infamous Austin Edward penalty when he threw the ball at him after it because he chipped him. But yeah, San Fran Celtic's fully right. And honest to God, Craig Gordon is such a deeply unlikable guy. Like, he really is.
He doesn't like Celtic, does he? He doesn't like it. I mean, you wouldn't think that's a player that played for us at one point. It must be frustrating playing against us as well, because everybody has a go at him, and I don't know, he's hot and he's cold, Doesn't do it against us, No,
I know. But I always notice it whenever they come to Celtic Park. He's always having a whinge about something, always in the referees. A few times today, during stops in play, he was over talking to Clancy and all that, and just like I don't know what he's trying to influence him with, but I'm just like, for fuck's sake, man. But anyway, on to the third goal. And again, brilliant counter-attack goal with the way it just broke. And Rio Hatate, if he meant this, then it's a phenomenal pass. But I think it was a case of he won the slide tackle and it was just going at such a pace that it just broke so well for us. But again, he wins that ball in the middle of the park. It's there. He gets him with the slide tackle and it just breaks into Nicholas Kuhn's path. And he just gets to the byline and just simply plays it across, and there was Dyson Maeda to get a second one. And again, it was just electrifying stuff to see. This is the type of Nicholas Kuhn that you want to see. And Dyson gets a second goal for the day, and once again, Tequila rings out around the stadium. As you said earlier on, that sounded loud even on the telly, and the stadium is very, very loud. That one, that chant is an all-timer already.
Oh, it's brilliant. I think Clancy got nutmegged in that passage of play as well. By the way,
what did you like him to get in the way? He got in the way a few times a day.
Is it main character syndrome again, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was a great goal, and it was good to see Dyson on the end of that. I mean, Dyson could have had a natural hat-trick today,
Yep.
If it wasn't for that post. But, my God, great finishing. And I was really surprised. I thought Kuhn would have had a go himself from that position, just because he's not been great playing well in that, and that would be his confidence. But no, I think that's good team spirit, and good players, like finding his striker there and just like putting it on a plate for him, No,
definitely. Well, let's talk about a guy whose name's came up a lot so far. I guess we'll talk about him now, because the first half, that was most action. But let's talk about Kevin Clancy. Let's talk about the referee, who apparently, if you listen to any Rangers fan, if you ever do partake in a conversation with them or indulge them in any way on social media, they'll go on about the big referee conspiracy against them and whatnot. And they always single out brother Clancy. They always talk about Farah Clancy. He's one of them. He's no wonder Celtic are top with referees like Kevin Clancy in the league and all that, doing them favours. I've said many times, and I said it literally before the game today to my dad, I cannot stand Kevin Clancy as a referee, because he is the most pernickety and fussy referee in the league. He stops the play for every little thing. He gets conned so many times by all these other teams. As soon as they throw themselves to the ground, or it's a 50-50 ball and there's a wee nick on them, free kick. You can't get any flow going at all. I'm amazed at times some of the passes of play we managed to pull off the day, in spite of Kevin Clancy. He was abysmal the day, and I say he just stops the play for everything. There was one in particular in the second half, I believe it was with Alistair Johnson, I want to say, and one of the Hearts players got to the byline, and he pulled up Johnson for a free kick. Should have been a corner for us. I think it looked like Johnson had done well to sort of shield the ball and win a corner. The free kick to Hearts. And honest to God, man, he just does my boxing. Liam, Kevin Clancy is abysmal.
He's the Mr. Bean of referees. I mean, look at him. He looks like Mr. Bean. He referees like Mr. Bean. And I imagine, the players look at him as a Mr. Bean type figure. So, yeah, that was it, Carabanga. So the whole thing between Carabanga and Cameron Carter-Vickers, that was getting frustrating, because every time CCB was getting near him, this boy was just throwing himself to the ground. And it was at one point, I think Clancy was there talking to CCV, giving him a warning that the next one that he had, he was going to go in the book. And you're just looking at it and going, there's not one of them was a foul worth a yellow card, Yep. So he was throwing himself to the ground. Devlin, I mean, you're right. He's conned by that. They know that they throw themselves to the ground and they grab the ball. That, their perfect cousin, her Kevin, doesn't get involved, sheepskin jacket and all that.
Yeah, so a few people in the chat come in saying about Clancy. Yeah, there was so many times a day where just their players were just throwing themselves to the ground. And yeah, just right away, you just know what's coming. You know he's going to give a free kick. He's going to stop the play. I find him to be one of the most fussy and panicky referees. You always like to have a referee who, when it is these wee 50-50s, just give the benefit of the doubt and let the play flow a little bit. But he is one that will just stop it for anything that he can. I say it's hard to get a real pattern of play and a flow going in the game, but no, they got the despite that, in spite of Kevin Clancy, we still managed to pull it out of the bag. But yeah, there was so many times a day where just people were just losing the rag in the stands just every time, free kick, whatnot. I think it was a bounce ball incident as well, where I don't think he really knew what he was doing. Again, you try to take a quick free kick, and he's like, no, pulls it back. Or you take a free kick maybe a few yards away from where it should be, and again, he's dead fussy in that sense that he wants it. No, move back. So, honestly, aye. And San Fran Celtic saying great dummy for Clancy for the goal. Aye, that's true. But yeah, say just one of the, despite what the Rangers fans may tell you about Kevin Clancy doing Celtic all the favours, I honestly, I'm cringing when I see him on the referee for the game. If he's been assigned, if I see his name, I'm just like, I know what's coming today. I know what it's going to be like. It's going to be so frustrating to watch. And yeah, at times today he was going out of his way to make it that way. But yeah, on to some positive sense. In the second half, it did kind of fizzle out. Pretty much Celtic were in control of the game without having to really go up the gears. I think it was one of those ones, I think if Hearts had maybe nicked one back, I think we would have went up a few gears just to really compel them. But at 3-0 at half-time, the game was won. But obviously, we saw some returns at a perfect time as well, because keep in mind, it is a squad game. We are still very much chasing 3 trophies this season. We need everybody back and fit. And obviously, Paulo Bernardo was back as well. And obviously, he came on, he got some time, got some minutes in the legs. At a point in the game when it was pretty much won, so he wasn't anything standard, but just in general, it was just good to see him back. And obviously, a bonus to that, James Forrest also made an appearance as well. He's back from an injury, so again, these are all valuable people to have at this stage, because yeah, going forward for the next 2 months that we're chasing down this treble, we need everybody there, fit, contributing, firing on all cylinders to get this over the line. And I'm just delighted to see Bernardo back. Instantly seeing those names on the bench, just compared to 2 weeks ago, there's definitely some work going to need to be done in the summer, Liam, with the squad depth, but just seeing them back just now, obviously a huge bonus.
I like Bernardo as a player. I really like him, what he brings to the game, and as soon as he came back, he started making tackles. He started making interceptions. There was a lot of really good balls that he won in the midfield, and it was like, oh, that's a great interception, and I'm looking up, it's Paulo Bernardo, and he's got a cavalier way about him when he's in that centre. He doesn't look like he's spending a lot of effort to get to the ball. He's no huffing and puffing, but he always seems to be there. He's always in position, and he's good at getting a tackle in without drawing a foul or any semblance of a foul on that. So I thought it was great to see him back, and it was good to see Callum get a rest. I think Bernardo is going to outshine Engels. I really do. I've said that before. Everything that I've seen between the two. At the beginning of the season, one of the questions when we were talking about Engels and Bernardo and all that is like, will he be allowed to be better than Engels, knowing the investment in him? I think that's our next superstar for Portugal. That could be our big superstar if he keeps developing the way he is, because he's really young. And I think he's a baller, a player. He's got a swagger, a wee bit of arrogance about him as well. And I think when he matures a bit and learns the Scottish game and learns the professional game, he's going to be a really good player. And I'm looking forward to see him getting more and more game time now that he's there. I'd like to see him in Arnie's position, see how or move Callum up, into one of the positions, see how that works as well. Because I think he looks good in the middle of the park. Other thing as well in the second half, Phil, was a really, really good slide tackle for Sinisalo.
Was that the one part of Vickers tried to pass it back to him? Was it that one? And it put him in a wee bit of trouble, and he basically, the slide that, that's right.
That impressed me. I thought that was really good. He came out and he just absolutely cleaned it, got there quick. And so it was good to see him coming outside his box and, making that, So, that was good. And then just going to Clancy, I mean, my God, he wanted to touch the ball, didn't he? He got in the way of a number of, chances.
Well, Ryan M said that I remember this was a Hearts chance where Clancy blatantly obstructed our defence. Would have been interesting if anything came. I remember at the time thinking, had they scored, what would the referee have done there? Probably would have given them a goal, to be honest. Let's be honest, but no, you're right. I'm sorry, Liam, I cut you off there, mate.
No. And then just as you said, seeing Forrest coming on, I think that was like the feel-good factor and stuff like that. But it didn't look like there was many left in the stadium at that point. People,
it was looking like a Ronnie Dyler crowd by the end of it. A lot of people were getting away early, but as I say, the weather was abysmal. It was a honking day for the weather. But no, on the subject of Bernardo, one of the things I think you mentioned last night, we were talking about a bit of physicality. That's the thing about Bernardo. I think he's got that in him to have that. Do you remember the first meeting again? I know we've had a few horrible games against Rangers in recent months, but do you remember the first meeting this season? The start of September, beat them 3-0 at Celtic Park. Bernardo was unreal that day, just getting in about them and harrying them and, just winning tackles and just being a real nuisance to the Rangers midfield. Because one of the things I'd always said about Bernardo was, and this isn't a slight on him as saying he's a bad player, but I always felt like he was a bit like the Joe Ledley role where he would go about his job quietly. That doesn't mean he's having a bad game. He's just doing it effectively and doesn't draw attention to himself. But I remember that game in particular against Rangers that day, he drew attention to himself because he was making sure. And I think it was because Engels had just arrived. It just kind of felt like Engels had just arrived. I'm going to remind the boss what I can do. I'm going to remind the fans what I'm all about. And I thought he was fantastic that day. And I always think, when he does play, he doesn't do anything too risky like Hatate does, where Hatate will go for the Hollywood ball and put us in a bit of danger sometimes. I think Bernardo's a very steady head at times and will always look for the safe pass, which again is the right answer sometimes. And a lot of people always go forward, just keep attacking. But sometimes it's about, just if you're under a wee bit of pressure, he feels like a guy that's got a cool head in that position. So I'm happy to see him back because obviously one of the things that we've had to deal with is teams at high presses. These days, Liam, has become a bit of an Achilles heel for Celtic. So it is handy to have a midfielder back that is quite happy to get on the ball and try and calm things down a wee bit. So hopefully in that sense, that'll be Bernardo a bonus having him back for that.
We had Tati looks like a ticking time bomb right now. There was at one point, I don't know who he was arguing with he was arguing with Clancy and one of the other players and all that, but just the amount of sclaffs and this and that. Just see he's getting angrier and angrier, and hopefully it manifests itself into an absolute screamer, takes the rope off of the net. But
Yeah, Hatate's got that thing though at the moment where he can have some in every game. He seems to have like a pure blinding moment, and then can have some wild just giving the ball away and whatnot. So today was one of them. There's a few scrappy passes, but overall, I think Hatate is one of his better games overall. But there has been some in the past though this season where for every good pass that he plays, he'll have like 3 or 4 absolutely wild ones that go right out of play, or ends up giving the ball back to the opposition. But I think overall the midfield having McGregor back, I think that was a massive key today. Because again, he was shown for the ball when we were under pressure at the back. Again, he's not afraid to go and collect the ball and try and dictate play. And yeah, there were some times today where we were a wee bit ropey at the back and playing a bit of a suicide pass across the goal and across the box. And if Hearts had a more fitter forward than Lawrence Shankland, then maybe we would have been in trouble there. But no, we seem to deal with it well. But I think McGregor played his part today, and also he's a more vocal voice. He was highlighting it last night on the Friday, feeling Tommy Carter Vickers. He's obviously a great player, but I don't think he's a leader on the park. But Callum McGregor, there was even an instance today when Clancy was just being a bam, essentially. You can see McGregor going over and having a word, because the captains are the ones that are supposed to, in theory, are supposed to be the ones that can argue with the referee pretty much and challenge him. But Carter Vickers didn't do any of that 2 weeks ago when McLean was stopping the play constantly and being a nuisance. But McGregor, it's just the influence on that boy brings to the park is huge, Liam.
Aye, and I think he's got the respect to the referees as well. He's not one of these shite-hot players, that's like trying to con the ref and all that. He looks like a stable head. He's a Scottish guy that can talk to referees, and they probably came through the referee ranks, seeing him since he was a young boy as well. So I think there's a respect for Callum McGregor that you get, that he can go up and do that, and maybe do it so that it actually has an effect.
Definitely. I say it's good to have him back, and yeah, again, just to emphasise, nothing against Luke McCown. Luke McCown's been phenomenal this season. I just think the grandeur of the fixture 2 weeks ago, being his upbringing, Celtic daft, to get a start in that game, I think it just bypassed him essentially. I think he was just too amped up. Some of the decisions he made on the ball were just erratic at times and just needed a bit of a cooler head. And that'll come with McCown. That'll come when the more experience he gets in that fixture. It'll come, because again, he's not done much wrong this season, Luke McCown. But yeah, that game 2 weeks ago was obviously a problem. I know people have highlighted that. Well, I mean, Callum McGregor played in the game at Ibrox in January, and we were even worse that day. But again, McGregor's got such a big influence on this fixture, because when he does play at his best, Celtic play at their best, he's so crucial to it. So yeah, have him back, to see him back in the team today. And he was obviously subbed off again. The game was won. Just take him off, just again, if he's nursing an injury still, a wee niggling problem, it's good to just keep him as fresh as possible, because again, he's going to be huge with what we are trying to achieve this season with the treble. So yeah, it was absolutely fine getting him off the park. And yeah, overall, Celtic go on and win the game 3-0. Second half, to say it was quite a non-event. There just wasn't, which was annoying, because I sit down that end of the stadium. It's always good to see goals down the end you sit at. But yeah, there was no goals to be had. Obviously, Adamida came on, had a few wee touches here and there, but never really got into the game. Yang made an appearance as well, but again, the game was just sort of, I think Celtic just treated it like the game's done. Unless Hearts go and score a goal, then there's no real reason to go for the jugular here. We've done the business, and yeah, it's 3 points. And as it stands right now, Dundee are winning 3-2, because Rangers have got another one back, and there's 11 minutes to go. So we could be 16 points in front tonight, or it would be 14 points in front, or maybe Rangers will score 2 goals. Who knows? Maybe we'll wait and see. There's still a few connotations there. So yeah, even if they were to get a draw, it would still leave us 14 points in front. But that would just be so typical of this season, where they go and get a result against us, and then the very next game they go and drop points against somebody. They've done it a few times this season. Terry even said it after the game in January. I said we'd be surprised if Rangers go and drop points in the next game. And I think after the Ibrox game, we extended our lead within the next 3 or 4 fixtures. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, we're that far ahead now. It's just a matter of when it happens.
Must be a roller coaster being a Rangers fan. One moment you're and you're drinking toilet water, back to then champagne, then you're back to lavy water again.
God almighty. So, it's but I say the title's as good as one. I say it's just a matter of way. So, as it stands now, we've got St Johnstone next week, and then Kilmarnock at home, and then if Rangers were to go on and win this one, which by the way, it's 3 each, funny enough. If they go on and win, and if Celtic keep winning, then it will be the first fixture after the split. Of course, we don't know what the fixtures are yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be an away game because we get 3 away games, 2 home games. It'll be Pittodrie or Tannadice, I think, will be where we'll be playing because they sure as hell are not going to send us to Ibrox in that first game after the split. In the event Celtic might be able to win the title that day, they're not going to do that. I think they'll keep the Rangers game for the 3rd fixture after the split. I think it will be obviously an away game first, Tannadice, Pittodrie. I think we'll have Hibs or either Motherwell or Hearts at home, depending on who gets into the top 6. But I think we'll obviously start with an away fixture. And yeah, it'll probably be Pittodrie or Tannadice that we go to for that one. So might be a wee bit of patience needed, a waiting game, but the title is on the way. It's going to happen regardless. So it's all rosy in the garden, Liam, at the moment.
Very nice therapy for, what happened 2 weeks ago, and then having the displeasure of having to watch Scotland, time as well. So, yeah, it was a nice way to just sort of remind you why I actually like watching football, the type of football I like to see played, as opposed to that pure imitation.
And what time did it kick off Vancouver time for you to get up to watch it today? Was it 7 a.m.?
Yeah, 7 a.m. today. It's no bad. It's like the hours have went ahead one, but it's back to getting up at... Try explain to a Canadian next week. I'm getting up at 4... Well, I'm leaving house at 3:30 and go and watch Celtic play St Johnstone. Who? St Johnstone? You're McGregor's team. Will he be there? No, it's gone anyway. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, speaking of celebrities, I saw Martin Compston at the game today. He was filming something before the game.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to predict this is they had a doorway at the corner, and they were filming him walking through it like he was walking through the door, and suddenly he's into Celtic Park. I think it's going to be something to do with the season ticket campaign. I think it'll be that. They'll have a slogan like "Step into Paradise" or something like that. That's what the slogan will be. I can already envision it. But yeah, they were filming Martin Compston doing this thing. You had 4 or 5 times you had to walk through this door and like turn around to the camera and whatever he was saying. But that's what I think it'll be. It'll be some sort of thing to do with the season ticket renewal campaign, which, as I mentioned last night, is due pretty soon. We're getting to that stage of the season where they're going to be sending that out with the season ticket. So it'll be something to do with that, I reckon.
Celtic TV had CM Punk on at halftime as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the worst. So the wee guy rolled out the same interview. He brings it for new players coming to Celtic. How did you hear about the club? What do you like the stadium? It was like the exact same script again, Phil. You know it. You get it off by heart. You
totally, man. I totally. We feel at least Jerry McCulloch didn't interview him because I actually know the guy who's the head of Celtic social media department. I actually complimented on that interview with CM Punk because I was like, at least you got an actual wrestling fan to interview him. But I quite enjoyed that one. And it was Jerry McCulloch just coming out with the usual stuff. I did actually say that to the boy that runs the social media. I says, I'm just glad it was to him. And he says, oh, no, we wouldn't have done that anyway. And I was like, yeah. But no, that was quite fun to see that this week. And his big enemy in the world of wrestling is an actual Rangers fan, Drew McIntyre, as he lifts the trophy and the trophy with his frozen pictures. One of the guys for Celtic says, Drew McIntyre, can you see that at Ibrox? If you listen carefully, you can hear him say it.
Yeah.
Aye. It's true. It's so true. So me and David Logue appreciated that wee interview with him. We definitely did.
I wish they'd come out and said it was out of spite rather than just I like the colour and I'm Irish, you know.
Aye. Pretty much has developed from that. Yes, it has actually. He's kind of got a like to. He's not the only one though. He's not the only one. There's another guy that's jumped on it.
The Bulgarian guy.
Yeah, well, he popped up one time with a Celtic shirt on as well. So, man, everyone loves the Celtic. Everyone, a Petrov connection. Right. So, man. But no, it's just good to be a Celtic fan right now. And yeah, we'll we're 16 points in front just now. Rangers are currently 3 each. Well, it doesn't matter even if they come back and win this game. It's only a matter of when it's going to happen. Obviously, we want it done as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's just a case we'll just keep motoring on. So yeah, we'll probably wrap up with that. I said before the show, we'll probably do about 45 minutes because it was a pretty non-event the second half. First half had all the action. And once we talked about the first half, there's not much left on the agenda. So yeah, But yeah, we'll jump on anyway, get a wee P.M.P out there, because I know recently it's been quite erratic with the P.M.P schedule, just to try to make things work, and Saturday games and whatnot. Russell's busy doing stuff and Terry's busy and whatnot, but I was able to jump on after that game the other day. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Liam. That's a double shift for us, Friday night, Saturday night, 2 in a row, mate. Maybe we'll turn up and do a Sunday Blether. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, it was good to come on and have a chat with you all about it. And yeah, we'll head off now. So we should be back on next Friday. As I say, that's the plan. We should be back for that, for the next Friday feeling for the St Johnstone game. I'd imagine TNF will be on as well through the week, so keep your eyes peeled for that one and any other shows that might pop up as well along the way. How will you know when a show's going to come along? Hit that subscribe button and remember to hit the bell notification and you will be notified when we are on the road. So all that said and done, Liam, any final thoughts then before we go? Any final words you wish to say?
We're back. We're back.
That's it. We're back.
All is forgiven.
That's it. Always, exactly. It was definitely something we said it last night. Do Celtic owe us a performance after that one? And yeah, I think they went all the right way to do it. I say Hearts didn't really threaten us at all, and it was a comprehensive victory in the end. So yeah, more of the same, please, Celtic, going forward for the rest of the season. That would be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, we'll head off now, folks. So thanks everyone for watching. Remember, hit the like button on the way out before you go. And yeah, we will see you on the next one. Catch you later, guys. See you.